So I guess we're going again. Okay. I believe this is episode 2. Welcome to the work behind the work. So I don't even know if I want to, what I want to call it. This isn't working the way that I thought. That's what I want to call this. So one thing I'm learning in this season of life is there is a huge difference between having a vision and building something that people actually understand. Man, some of what I thought would work right away has not worked the way that I thought it would. And I think people need to hear that conversation more often. Social media has people believing that good ideas automatically create wins. I think social media also believes that if you are, or has people believing that if you move in purpose, that it's automatically going to attract support, or that community will just automatically show up just because you put it out there. And that's just not true. Okay, so one of the things I don't know if I mentioned in the beginning, the first video, is my goal, and I wrote this down, I want to make sure, my goal in every video is to hit you with like 4 main kind of like core functions, right? Situation, so always tell a story. People like stories, I like telling stories, but you like stories because it's more relatable. A breakdown, like breaking down what that story is, what is the lesson or the pattern, and then the move, which equates to the action, right? And so my goal is to figure out how to make sure that every time I do one of these, I break that down. With that being said, one of the biggest challenges, the biggest things that I'm building right now is Proximity Collective. And so when I say co-working space, I think people need to really understand, or I need people to understand, that I've never, ever seen it just as a co-working space. I use that word because it is common, it is relatable, it is something that people know and can see and have a model for, but I'm talking about something way bigger than that. I'm talking about something, a place where community and relationships and opportunity and access and conversations and entrepreneurship and culture and policy and collaboration and celebration all come together in one place, right? In proximity to each other. I'm trying to create a place where people actually feel like they are connected. I am connected to people, and when I see them, or at least when I think that when I see them, I feel this, oh my God, these are my people, right? And people have heard me say this, but I don't know if other people feel that way or experience that. And I know there are a few of us who are pushing to create environments like that. And so that's where I'm at, right? Trying to create a place where people actually feel connected, but also because we're in a world where so many people feel disconnected. Part of this came from my own experiences, right? I was going into spaces and realizing that I felt the same every single time. The same energy, the same surface level interactions, the same fake networking, the same fake, I actually care about you, but I don't really care about you, all that stuff. And I kept feeling like we got to do something deeper than this. Now, most of this comes because I'm a relational person. I recognize that. But it also came from me observing a lot of people who are mainly identified as introverts, or people who are not as socially outgoing. And they valued the one-on-one time. They valued the camaraderie and the connection, but they also hated the small talk, right? And so I wanted to create a space where people could really build and connect or learn or collaborate, partner, whatever those things, and not just take pictures and hook up, right? Because that's what a lot of happy hours and networking events literally are for. Sorry, I'm gonna just say it. And I believe that maybe I was too confident at first, but if I built something meaningful, people would naturally flock to it. So here's the breakdown, right? The reality of what I'm learning is just because something is valuable does not mean that people automatically understand it. And that has been frustrating. Oh, so frustrating. Because in my head, I'm thinking about the long-term vision or the ecosystem or the impact or the possibilities. Meanwhile, people are just hearing the word co-working space. And this was an unlock for me because those things are not the same, but I understand why people felt this way. I've also had moments where I've realized that I've spent way too much time building and I haven't always spent enough time translating. For my job, I feel like my job is to translate. And so even in that, I feel like I'm not spending enough time translating, which is also frustrating because building and translating are different skill sets. Building something and communicating something are not the same. If I'm transparent, there have definitely been moments where I thought that we should be further along by now. Like, I personally felt that way about what I'm building, right? We were supposed to do almost a year ago now. We were supposed to do a grand opening or soft opening, whatever people call it. And I canceled it because I was tired. Here we are a year later and I'm still tired, right? We should be further along. We should be open. We should have had all the different things happening. So I pushed it off and now I'm in a similar position. I've had thoughts of what's taking so long. And I'll be honest. I am the person. I'm the thing that's taking too long. But you feel that way. You have these thoughts when you put your money into something or you put your time and energy into something and relationships don't work. I'm working right now on something else that I'll talk about at some point where someone else is actually waiting, not just on me, but on other people, right? And the response doesn't happen as quickly as you expect, so then you get even more frustrated. And what's wild to me is I know I'm not the only person that's dealing with this, right? I have had conversations this week with founders and nonprofit leaders and creatives and entrepreneurs and community folks and staff and all the things. And so many people are quietly facing the exact same tension. They believe in what they're building, but they are frustrated because other people don't fully see it. So the pattern, the lesson. I think the lesson that I'm learning right now is vision alone is not enough. Being clear matters. Being repetitive matters. Communicating what the vision is matters. Communication in general matters. And people cannot support what they do not understand. I'll say that again. People cannot support what they do not understand. This was an unlock for me because I recognize that even people walking into the building, right? I purchased a 68,000 square foot industrial building 4 years ago. And when people walk into the co-working space, which is a small piece of other spaces in the building, they don't always recognize that I own the entire building. They only know the small thing based off what I communicate. I think a lot of builders struggle with this because we're living inside the vision every day. So in our minds, everything is so obvious. What do you mean? I've talked about this thing. I've said it. I showed you. I have been guilty of this. I was talking about that the other day. I was telling you the other day. What do you mean? I've been writing about this. This is the only thing that I've been talking about. The only thing that's been on my mind. You've been to the building, whatever the things are. But to everybody else, right? Those are all the things that are happening in our head. But to everybody else, they are seeing it for the first time. Another thing I'm learning, sometimes we think if people don't immediately respond, the idea must not be good. And that also is a false narrative because sometimes the messaging isn't clear. The audience isn't fully defined yet, right? Who is this for? Most importantly, the thing that I'm learning right now is the positioning isn't clear. Oh, positioning is so key. Or sometimes people just need more time. And again, I'll be honest and very, very vulnerable. There have been times where I've said I'm not ready to fully unload and unlock everything that's happening. Been very guilty of that because I don't feel clear, or I haven't really defined the thing, or I don't have time to define the thing. But I think that this applies to things way more than business, which is why I wanted to make sure that I recorded this. I'm thinking about this from a relationship context, thinking about this from a friendship context. I'm thinking about this from community work, from personal growth, from a leadership aspect, from a business owner aspect. Because just because something is deeply important to you, or it's your baby, your thing, that doesn't automatically mean that people understand the value. And that doesn't mean that people are going to understand the value in the immediate time. What will or should happen is that because they don't understand the value, it is up to you to make them see or hear or understand the value by communicating, by sharing the message, right? So right now, the move or the action step is just not quitting. It's refining. It's continuing to learn how to communicate better. This is coming from someone who does public speaking for a living, right? I can also grow. So if I can, so can you. I'm learning how to simplify my message. I'm learning how to explain just not what this is, but why it matters. That's been key to me as well. One thing I'm also recognizing in this season is I just need to stop assuming that people will automatically get it. People will automatically make the connections, right? My responsibility is to make the connections for them, is to help them get it. And if I believe in the vision that I was told, then I have to become better at translating the vision. You know, I'm big on taking ownership. And so those are the things that I'm processing. So in this, I guess, action point 2, I don't know. I'm focusing on being very clear or more clearer about the messaging, telling the story more and more consistently. So more storytelling and more consistency. Bringing people into the process and super, super intentional outreach. Part of the reason why I wanted to create this is because of that reason, right? Recognizing that letting people see part of the process is helping them understand what the vision actually looks like and feels like. So this video is not going to be as long as the other one. Maybe it is. I don't know. If you are building something right now and it feels like people are not understanding it fully, just do me a favor. Don't assume that your vision is wrong. Maybe the move isn't to stop building. Maybe it's just learning how to communicate more clearly and more effectively, right? What you're building is important, but how to communicate what you're building clearly is even more important. And maybe that's just my learnings, right? I'm saying that I'm trying to empower you, but I'm also I'm talking to myself. This whole series is actually for myself, just so you know. So I'm learning things in real time. I am trying my best to show you the work behind the work, and I'm also doing my best to be honest. I don't have any questions for you. Usually I do. But I hope that this resonates with you, and I hope that there's something that you can glean from that. And I hope that you can share those with the rest of us who are watching it. So appreciate you.